Hey guys, my name is Marta, welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to be talking about the Iliac Crest by Cristina Riviera Garza, which was recently translated and published in English. This is a Mexican novel that discusses many themes that can all be caught between the big topic of boundaries, and it's a story that begins in a stormy night in which this mysterious woman claps the door, enters the house, and asks to stay there because she seems to be running from somewhere. Our main character, who from the very beginning gets fascinated by her body, by this point of her body that is the Iliac Crest, cannot help but say yes, and he lets her come in. He will soon find out that she claims to be the Mexican author Amparo Davila. A few moments later, another woman will come into the house who will happen to be the main character's ex and who happens to be very, very ill. So Amparo Davila will assume the role of a nurse and will offer her to take care of her. As the novel moves forward and the days go by, these two characters will begin to talk to each other and hide things from our main character and narrator, who will begin to feel menaced and like a stranger in his own house. These two women will happen to start communicating in a completely different language that not only our main character but also us as readers will be unable to comprehend. Moreover, the mystery surrounding this woman will begin to get bigger and bigger as the plot continues, since our main character will soon discover that she may not be the true Amparo Davila, as another woman living in the south will say that she is, and that the woman he is living with is a fraud. This is a book that tackles many different themes. It's a book that mostly talks about boundaries, as I just said. It talks about language boundaries, identity boundaries, gender boundaries, and even physical boundaries when it comes to territories. To begin with one of these concepts, language is one that plays a huge role in this novel, since language is used not only to communicate these secretive ideas that the two women are talking about and that even us cannot understand, but it's also the tool that unveils us that our main character may not have been born in the gender he is currently, as many people in the novel will refer to him as a her, despite him constantly claiming to be a man. This is a book that, changing topic, talks a lot about identity, especially related to gender identity. Our main character and the world around him don't happen to see and perceive him in the same way, despite how many times he tries to deny the way other people see him. This is a novel about secrets, not only related to gender and this type of gender identity, but also related to personal identity, since, as I have just hinted at a few moments ago, Amparo Davila may not happen to be Amparo Davila. And in fact, naming is a huge thing in this book. And naming, as we all know, is a very known tool of identity creation. In this novel, mostly any character that I can think of, except for Amparo Davila, has a name. All of them are named under a pseudonym that our main character puts into them to refer to how they all relate to him. Since this is a book that talks about identity, we can see that as how one person always shapes the world around them according to their own life. And we can see how that view clashes with, as I have just said, the way other people perceive him. Besides all of those limits between identity, language, and gender that I have just mentioned, this is a novel that also talks about physical territories, limits, boundaries, and all of that. First of all, I have to say that this is a novel that takes place in a universe that almost looks dystopian. As I have said with people, places do also not have a name in this novel, and the place our main character happens to live in is a place in between. It's this sort of limbo in which everything makes sense in the way that anything makes much sense to us as readers. Not only there are a lot of limits in him as a person, but also in the physical place he lives in. And even more, he's working in this place, sort of hospital, in which he takes care of people that are going to die very soon. So it's also a place that is almost like a limbo. And that place he is living in also becomes like this safety place for people such as Amparo Davila, the woman who comes into this house who seek refuge in. We learn that as he goes north in a moment to help some people and to run away from his house because he's feeling menaced by Amparo Davila and his ex there. And also when he goes south, you see this woman who claims to be the true Amparo Davila and who says, and it's almost sure, that the woman that is staying in our main character's house is a fake one. This is a book that is a lot of about interpretation, then it's a lot about what is truth and what is not, and how we are unable to fully know it. This is lastly a book that also between all of these facades that it talks about, between all of its points it makes about what is true and what is not, sees nature, especially the sea, as the only place that, because of its instability, is stable in one's life. In the book, our main character will constantly be referring to the sea as this place, as this physical space in which he can find solace. The sea is going to be a thing that will bring him comfort, that will make him feel less unsure about all these weird events happening in his life. I think that the ending of the novel, which happens to happen at the sea, is a clear example of that. Lastly, to finish up this video, because I have said a lot without saying much, and that I think was my purpose with this review, I have to say that this is a novel that is very, very strange, and that you might not fully understand upon a first read, because I am sure I didn't. I would need to reread it to make sense of a lot of different things that happen in it. I think it's a novel that, despite being super short and apparently simple when it comes to language used, is extremely complex. It's a novel that talks about many topics, as I have said. It's a novel that can bring up many different and interesting discussions. It's a book that is fascinating and one that I encourage you all read if it intrigues you. It's a book that really reflects, as I have said, upon many topics, between which I would like to highlight that of language, because I think that it's very interesting how language can shape all of the other concepts that the book deals with. And it's a book that also talks a lot about attraction, because I forgot to mention that the book is a lot about attraction, sexual attraction, fascination, and all of those things. It's one of the things that our main character will first perceive of Amparo Davila is her body. So bodies also play a role in this novel, not only in terms of physical attraction, but also of identity, as you will see when you read it, if you happen to do so. So overall, I gave this book 4 stars. I found it to be a very fascinating read. It's a book that I will most likely go back to in a few years to see if I can get more from it, because I'm sure I will. It's a book that left me thinking, and it's a book that I think it's not only perfect for you if you want something that is going to make you reflect upon many topics, but also a book that I think would make a perfect pick for a book club, since, as I have just said, it's a book that you can talk a lot about and that you can relate to many different concepts, topics, ideas, whatever. I hope you enjoyed this video. Comment down below if you've read the Iliac Crest or any other novel dealing with similar topics. Give it this video a like if you liked it, and I hope you have this amazing, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!